The battle of New York when it comes to which football team is better is going down this year as the New York Giants and the New York Jets have agreed to have joint practices again this year. And I'm joined by my guy Patrick Siepman, the host of the New York Jets channel here at Chat Sports. And really on today's video, I just wanted to kind of look ahead to these joint practices, talk about what we're going to look for, what we're going to take away from, and why the New York Giants are going to be a better team than the Jets this year.
Yeah, we'll see about that. But I do think both these teams are in pretty similar spots here. They both have, I think, underrated rosters if you just look at the full 53-man. But it all comes down to the quarterbacks. And I do think both these teams, especially at practice, like battle versus strengths. Like you got the Jets D-line versus the Giants O-line and vice versa on the other side. And also the battle on the perimeter, Sauce Gardner, Malik Neighbors, Daboll, Garrett Wilson. It should be a lot of fun. Hopefully it's an iron sharpens iron situation. But I'm fired up for it. And also that preseason game should be a lot of fun as well. But I'll ask you guys this. More wins this season. Going with the Jets or are we going with the Giants? Give me an NYJ for the Jets or an NYG for the Giants. Are you pretty confident in the Giants on this one, Mark?
Yeah, I'm pretty confident. I don't really see any position the New York Jets are really all that much better than. Like, you guys got Garrett Wilson. We got Malik Neighbors. You have Quentin Williams. We got Dexter Lawrence. You got Jermaine Johnson. We got Brian Burns. Sauce Gardner was cool 2 years ago, but we'll see what's going on. On a serious note, though, I am excited for this. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see some maybe fight night scenes. It's gotten pretty physical over the last couple of years. I know Salo was running the show last year, and it's a different mindset with Aaron Glenn, and you could talk about that more. But I'm hearing there's a big change in overall just competitiveness at Jets practices so far this offseason.
Whole change in culture this year for the Jets, and it starts with Aaron Glenn and even goes further with guys like Steve Wilkes, Tanner Engstrad going to be running the offense this season. But I think you made a good point. A lot of talkers on the New York Jets here, and a lot of talkers on the Giants. It would not shock me if we see some fights break out this camp. And honestly, I'm in the pro of fighting at camp. Obviously, you got to keep it, within the guidelines and everything. But I want to see that competitive nature come out, and I think we'll see just that. But Daboll was talking about the practices here and pretty cool stuff.
Kind of just talking about how they came together. And, I don't know, it's hard to get full emotion when reading a written quote, but I almost felt like there was some animosity between the teams already. Brian Daboll saying this on how the Giants and Jets practices came together. Says, I have a good relationship with AG. Known him for a long time. Obviously, he was with Detroit the last couple of years, and him and I have a good working relationship as well as a good personal relationship. It was good to sit down and kind of iron through some things that we wanted to get done. Logistics of it. We're going to do one practice at their place. We're going to do one practice here at the Giants' place. We thought that would be good for both teams, kind of traveling a little bit, good for the fan base. So it was really easy to work with Aaron Glenn, and those are competitive days and good for the team. And one thing that I've started to notice a little bit more the longer and longer I've worked here at Chat Sports is the joint practices are almost more physical and more fun than the preseason games.
100%.
We're going to get good on good. We're going to get ones versus ones. We're going to get to see all of the fun battles, and I'm looking forward to it. I think both these teams are similar, but also where the Jets are strong, like their defensive line, the Giants' O-line is a question mark, and we're going to really get to see the test of it. And let's just start with the thing I think we're both looking for the most, and that's the trench battle. And that's really on both sides of the ball. I know the New York Jets have made it a strong point to improve their offensive line, and as have the Giants. And Joe Shane and the Giants have really gone all in on getting back to New York Giants football, and that is dominating the line of scrimmage, getting the defensive line to cause havoc and put wins together. This is a group last year for the Giants pass rush that had 35 sacks in the first 8 games this season. That's the most of any team to the first 8 weeks of a season since the 2017 Jacksonville Jaguars. And what I love is they identified its strength and they doubled down on it, trying to make it an absolute unstoppable force. You go out and you add Abdul Carter. You go out and you sign Chauncey Golston. And at joint practices, you're going to get to see them go against somebody else. Giants offensive line, not really a great litmus test, but the Jets O-line, I think it's improved, and I think it's one of the more underrated units in the NFL this year.
And this would be a good test for the two guys you see on the perimeter, Olu Fashanu and Armand Membu. Now, both those guys, They're both high draft picks, and the Jets are banking on both these guys being the tackle duo of the future. And what a better matchup to get when you're going against Brian Burns, Abdul Carter, Kayvon Thibodeau. But I also can't wait to see the battle in the interior. Like Joe Tippmann, John Simpson, Elijah Vera-Tucker, all three of those guys are very solid. Now, they have had health concerns over the last couple of seasons, but when they're fully healthy, that Jets offensive line, I mean, Jets fans are anticipating that being a potential top 10 group in the league, and this could be an iron sharpens iron situation. It will be great reps for Membu, great reps for Fashanu, and I just can't wait to see the battle. But on the other side of the football for the New York Jets, maybe they don't have, up to par with the Giants defensive line, but this is still a very fantastic group. Like Quinnen Williams, he is a dog in that interior. Derek Nottie now joining him. But the two guys on that edges here, Jermaine Johnson coming off that torn ACL last year, they're expecting big things from him. And then Will McDonald kind of popped last year, had 10.5 sacks. So seeing those guys, go up against the Giants tackles, I think that'll be very fun to watch. And just overall, both these teams, you talked about the Giants going back to New York Giants football. Also, the Jets are kind of doing that. Like Darren Muji, first-year GM, he came in here and said, hey, we're going to get better in the trenches. They spent a top 10 pick on Membu. They're getting that defensive line back healthy and ready to go, and they should have a good matchup versus this Giants offensive line.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the inside run drills that they're going to get going and when they work on those pass protection drills. But some of these one-on-one pass sets are going to be a lot of fun. McDonald as well as Jermaine Johnson going up against one-on-one versus Andrew Thomas. There hasn't been many training camp or joint practice reps that he's lost in his career. And on the other side, Jermaine Illuminor, he's going to have to hold his own as well. And the interior offensive line for the Giants, there's still some question marks around it. John Runyon being able to go up against Quinnen Williams, we're going to get to see where he's at. John Michael Schmitz entering year 3, kind of walking down the pipeline of being potentially a bust. Can he show some improvement as he goes up against one of the best in Quinnen Williams? And on the other side as well, Dexter Lawrence versus Elijah Vera-Tucker. If I could buy tickets to just watch those guys go at it in one-on-one pass sets, that's going to be a lot of fun. And we're going to, I feel like both teams here get a better grasp of where they sit in the trenches. Both teams have good defensive lines. I'd say the Jets is a little bit more proven on the offensive line than the Giants, but an opportunity for both to get better. But we know the magic happens on the outside, especially at practice. It's really easy to digest one-on-one when it comes to route running and cover corners. And we didn't get much of it last year in the joint practice. I expect to get a lot more this year. Malik Neighbors versus Sauce Gardner.
We were kind of hinting at a fight being broken out. If I had to put money on it right now, Sauce Gardner and Malik Neighbors would be the heavy favorite to have those two start throwing hands at practice. But what a good test for Sauce. Obviously, he had a down year last year. Felt like he kind of checked out at the second half of the season. But, his first 2 years, making an all-pro each season, going up against Malik Neighbors, that's going to be a great matchup. And plus just, the deep ball throws from Russell Wilson and all that. See if he can go, stride for stride with Malik. But Sauce, he saw his classmate Derek Stingley get that 3-year, $90 million deal. He probably wants to get more than that, and maybe he can send a message to the Jets front office here if he has a good, couple of joint practices versus Neighbors. I can't wait to watch this. It's going to be a lot of fun. But still, Sauce versus Neighbors. If talking about paying just to watch one individual battle, I could just watch those two go head-to-head every single practice. So I can't wait for it.
And I just still remember from last year's joint practice for the Giants against the Lions, there were some fights there. Kirby Joseph and Malik Neighbors were getting into it. We all saw the video where Malik Neighbors kind of threw a sucker punch and ran off. There's going to be some chirping going on. On the other side, though, it's going to be a great test. I've read that Garrett Wilson looks better than ever at Jets camp so far through OTAs and mini camp, or OTAs so far. And the Giants, they paid a corner in Paulson Adebo, big-time money, coming off an injury, ready to play, but you're going to get to see where he stacks up against, in my opinion, one of the most underrated receivers in Garrett Wilson.
And he's got his college quarterback back in action with them, Justin Fields, so they're already building that connection. But the reports out of Jets minicamp and OTAs, this guy looks like a freak. He looks even better than he did during his first 3 seasons, all over 1,000 yards with some shaky quarterback play. I'm sure Garrett Wilson is thinking, I could go have a 1,400 year. But also from the Giants side, I'm sure you're hoping Deonte Banks gets matched up with him a couple of times here and there, but it'd be good to see Adebo if he's fully recovered from that injury, and then see if you could get anything from Deonte Banks going toe-to-toe with Garrett Wilson here.
Yeah, Giants DBs had to be better this year. It's kind of a make or break or final opportunity for Deonte Banks to show if he really deserves to play in this league as a starting corner. Want to see him against Garrett Wilson. Some of the other Jets wide receivers and Giants DBs, that'll be a lot of fun. The safety room for the Giants is completely different. So I'm excited to see really both those sides of the ball go head to head, and really who shows that they're the better group. And it's always more fun when you got a new quarterback in town. And it's the honeymoon phase. Jets fans may never love Justin Fields more than they do right now, and Giants fans may never love a guy like Russell Wilson or Jackson Dart than they do right now, and they're the head honchos of the team, and I'm interested to see how Justin Fields does in a new environment, and it feels like an organization for the first time really embracing who Justin Fields is.
Yeah, I mean, clearly the Jets, they're going to try to be more of a run-first team this year, go back to, relying on that defense, relying on Justin Fields, Breece Hall, and those legs. But Fields, right now the reports are hearing from OTAs and minicamp, it's been more of the same. The kind of the same stuff we have heard on Fields where it's like, yes, he holds on to the ball a little too long, but then he'll go have a complete wow play where it's turning heads, but then he'll follow that up with kind of a what the hell are you doing play. So it'll be good to see him going against, obviously that great Giants defensive line. He has held on the ball way too long throughout his NFL career. That's been kind of his MO. So see if he can get it out quick, but I'm super excited to just get a real feel for Justin Fields, going against, a pretty damn good defense in the National Football League. And obviously the Giants, they got a complete carousel here at the quarterback position.
Yeah, they should have been on Hard Knocks. I know they're doing an in-season Hard Knocks. I'm also looking forward the inside run portions. Like Justin Field and the Jets, they want to run the ball, and they won't have Fields run the ball in these joint practices, but we're just going to get to see those teams go at it in violent settings. And for the Giants quarterbacks, who's going to emerge as QB2? Is it going to be Jameis Winston? Is it going to be Jackson Dart and Russell Wilson trying to navigate it all against a talented Jets defense? Their pass rush, those 11-on-11s, when they do those 2-minute drives where teams try to drive the field, that's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm really, really juiced up to see which quarterback kind of shows that they are the leader of their team a little bit more. And with the new head coach in the Jets and Brian Daboll coming back after being on the hot seat, which team's got better culture? I can already see Aaron Glenn and maybe even Brian Daboll getting a little jolly and going back together. The Giants, the energy around 1925 Giants Drive just feels a little bit different. And according to the great Diana Rossini, I know the same thing is over there happening in Jets land.
I think the best thing you could say to speak to the new New York Jets culture is Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson. They both want contract extensions, but they were both there at minicamp. They're having a no drama. Aaron Glenn's talked about it. I want a quiet offseason. Quiet offseason results in a successful regular season. And we've really seen that come to fruition so far this offseason. But it's a whole new feel for the New York Jets. It's about toughness. It's about just kind of going through the process day in, day out. And, again, you can talk about all this stuff. He has checked every single box. It was great rookie minicamp, great OTAs, great minicamp. But now let's go see it in joint practices, then to the preseason, then to the regular season. But this will be the first real look, which culture is kind of, sticking out here early in the offseason process.
You're also going to get to see which fan base wants it more. You're going to get the Jets fans loud and proud when they do the home joint practice, and when the Giants are doing it there, you're going to see it's going to feel a little bit like a game day. And I'm telling you, the joint practices are going to be a lot more fun than the actual preseason game, because you may not see Justin Fields in preseason week number 2, and they're not going to go too intense in that setting. And I don't expect to see Russell Wilson all that much in the preseason. And when you have these teams have these joint practices, they focus on that as the game of the week. So you're going to get to see the best of the best for the Jets, the best of the best for the Giants go head-to-head, and you're going to get, hopefully, both teams coming out of these joint practices better versions of themselves than they came into it. Giants win totals 5.5. Is that the same for the Jets?
Same with the Jets.
Same with the Jets, man. I like the over. I'm obviously biased. I drink Giants blue and red Kool-Aid, but I'm typing my NYG in the comments section. I just think this Giants team got a little bit more juice, and I think there's a little bit more of a sleeping nature on this team from the outside.
Yeah, and I am a sucker for these Aaron Glenn offseason quotes. He makes me ready to run through a wall. I mean, listen, if the Jets win 10 games this year, I'm not going to be shocked because it starts with Aaron Glenn. But I'm super excited about this. Both these teams, very similar spots. Both coaches, obviously Daboll seats a little hotter, obviously, since he's been there more than Aaron Glenn being his first year. But I am sure both these coaches want to, take their culture and just kind of keep on establishing it. You can do that in these, joint practices.
Going to be a lot of fun. We're looking forward to it, and we'll both break it down on our channels. If you're watching on Giants Now, subscribe. If you're watching on the Jets channel here at Chat Sports, subscribe and support Patrick Siepman. We appreciate y'all. We'll see you later, and let's go.